From the High Definition Educational Broadcast Center at Bergen Community College's main campus in Paramus, this is Studio Bergen.
Hi everyone, I'm Larry Levanka, and welcome to Studio Bergen, your connection to the state's largest community college. Of course, the college is always proud of its students that make the honor roll, but last month, Bergen found out it made an honor roll of its own, the President's Higher Education Community Service Honor Roll. For the 6th consecutive year, Bergen earned a spot on the list compiled by the Corporation for National and Community Service, a federal agency that leads service-based initiatives. The honor roll recognizes institutions that have incorporated service learning into programs, into curricula, and campus environment. Bergen is one of only 4 New Jersey community colleges to earn the honor roll distinction. Approximately 650 Bergen students completed more than 10,000 hours of community service in 2012, being led by 100 faculty members. No event more exemplified Bergen students' commitment to service than the Help Bergen Heal campaign, a Hurricane Sandy relief effort spearheaded by the college's Student Government Association. As part of the campaign, a dozen student clubs and 100 students raised nearly $1,000 in donations and oversaw the distribution of more than 60 boxes of clothing and 10 boxes of food and cleaning items. Items were then distributed at a free supermarket in the college's gymnasium, visited by 45 families. The Corporation for National and Community Service estimates more than 3.1 million students completed 118 million hours of community service last year. Meanwhile, the college also made news recently by signing a transfer agreement with Montclair State University aimed to help students in science, technology, engineering, and math fields achieve a smooth transition to the 4-year school. Bergen President Dr. B.K. Walter and Montclair President Susan Cole signed the agreement earlier this semester, which bridges A.S. degrees at Bergen with B.S. degrees at Montclair. The agreement marks the college's first so-called STEM transfer agreement. On the topic of transferring, Bergen students made their rounds at the college's March 6th fair, which brought reps from 4-year schools like Montclair and dozens of others to campus. Students were able to discuss their transfer options, in addition to picking up materials from the 4-year schools. The college hosts a fall and spring fair. Also in March, the college celebrated Women's History Month with a slate of events that recognized the contributions of women throughout the U.S. and globe. The month opened with a social gathering for students, faculty, and staff, officially opening tea, March 4th. In addition to music, guests were able to talk and snack on various homemade pastries. The month's keynote speaker, Emily Hunter, an environmental journalist and filmmaker, the daughter of Robert Hunter, the first president of Greenpeace, discussed the role of women in activism and environmental awareness as a whole.
I believe we must redefine what activism means, not just for the inclusion of women, but also for the inclusion of a new and emerging generation. That is the point of my talk here today.
Being that it is Women's History Month, in this edition of Faculty Focus, we took the opportunity to speak with one of Bergen's longest tenured and most prominent female professors, Dr. Dorothy Altman. After starting as an adjunct in 1973, Dr. Altman eventually landed a full-time position teaching writing and literature. Throughout those 40 years, she has served on numerous committees and led initiatives, while also directing the college's honors program along the way. Professor Altman has always had an interest in addressing women's issues, perhaps due to her own experiences.
I myself, have suffered the slings and arrows of gender discrimination. I can remember when I was looking at colleges, the admissions officer at the University of Rochester kind of put his arm around me and said, if you were a guy, we could offer you a full scholarship, but, we can't do that for a woman. And you know what? I said, oh, I understand. Now I'm probably jumping up and down. So I've always felt, that women need to be promoted and helped forward. And I was in one of the first consciousness-raising groups back in the 60s. And so, of course, when I came to Bergen, Women's History Month was a natural fit.
Literature, Dr. Altman's subject, serves to remind students of the issues women faced.
I think there's always a component in our classes looking at women's issues. It's just there. At the story I was just teaching, A Rose for Emily, you can definitely see the discrimination against a woman in the South in the 1890s. What was her social position? You know, her father kept her as a prisoner in the house practically. It's so common when you start looking at literature to see the discrimination. And I'm the discussion leader for a book group over at the Bear's Nest apartments or condos, I guess they are. And we've been reading international literature, and you see there too, just across the board, you know, discrimination against women. I mean, it's such a common story that, from time immemorial up even to the present, in some of the third world countries.
Dr. Altman believes, as a professor, she must address these issues in order to further the discussion in her classes.
I think awareness is certainly one thing, and it's kind of exciting. I mean, I've had classes where maybe we've been reading a story and discussing the second-class citizenship of women, and someone, will say, yeah, that's definitely true in my culture, and it starts a dialogue, and people do, exchange views. And then I think more actively, certainly the Women's Studies program makes students more aware. And, there are programs where we've been trying to work to promote not only women's students, but I think students, again, raising money, for students in other countries, things that would facilitate gender equality, globally.
Still, Dr. Altman believes segmenting ourselves into groups, whether that is by gender, race, or otherwise, has pitfalls.
It used to bother me when when students here became very aware of their cultural heritage, which is something that happened gradually. And it's great, but I also felt like, let's not forget that we're all one group, and we don't want to be so busy getting off into little groups that we forget the whole. And I think that's true with the gender, barriers too. Let's all support each other, equality for everyone.
That said, Dr. Altman remains proud of female students who have achieved in fields traditionally dominated by men.
We had an honors student, and she worked for us when I was honors director in the office, Stacy Lee. And she went on to Columbia, and she's working in neuroscience now. And I just think that's so great, that our Bergen students are really getting into these fields and going forward.
When it comes down to it, Dr. Altman feels lucky to have melded her personal interests with her profession.
I always loved creative writing. My sister and I used to write books when we were kids. And I've been able to teach creative writing here. And I remember when no one wanted to teach it, and it was like, oh, let's give it to an adjunct. Well, Dorothy Altman will take it. So I taught it and just loved it because I was taking some classes and doing creative writing myself. And then now, of course, creative writing is, has morphed into a degree program. We have more classes. So that's been a wonderful union of personal and professional.
In other news last month, Bergen's Department of Public Safety teamed with the Bergen County Police Department for Campus Safety Day. As part of the program, Bergen's Director of Public Safety, Bill Corcoran, and Bergen County Police Sergeant John LaDuca discussed topics such as crime prevention and awareness. The highlight for many, though, was a demonstration by the Bergen County Police Canine Unit.
Hey, you in that closet! Come out here, show me your hands! Show me your hands! Pop!
The demonstration showed the ability of the canine unit to identify bomb-making materials. From someone who saw it live, I can tell you it was quite a display. Also last month, the college's Student Government Association hosted a town hall meeting, giving their peers an opportunity to ask questions of Bergen's top administrators, faculty, and staff, including President Dr. B.K. Walter. The periodic event, led by the SGA, features a question and answer session. Coming up after a short break, we'll have more news from the college and the Bergen Community College Foundation's Executive Director, Laurie Francis, in studio. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Studio Bergen. I'm Larry Levanka. With the start of spring comes a busy season for the Bergen Community College Foundation, which begins hosting many of its fundraising events, culminated by the Scholarship Awards ceremony, which will take place later this month. In March, the foundation hosted its annual Monte Carlo Night, a fundraiser at the Stony Hill Inn. At the event, guests have an opportunity to participate in casino games and win prizes. Later in the month, and serving as a prelude to the holiday later that weekend, the foundation hosted its annual St. Patrick's Day Roast, also at the Stony Hill Inn. The popular breakfast brings Bergen County legislators, officials, and members of the college community together as they trade friendly barbs over bagels. Meanwhile, the foundation also hosted its periodic networking luncheon, the Quarterly Connection, recently. The event's keynote speaker, James Sotillo, the president of Ecological Landscape Management, discussed his work in melding biotechnology and the environment. The lunch also featured a panel discussion led by Bergen professors, staff, and students that have worked on environmentally conscious projects at the college. The college also welcomed acclaimed author Ayad Akhtar to campus last month as part of the ongoing Literary Arts series. Akhtar, who has appeared in films such as television's Too Big to Fail and written numerous plays, read from his novel, American Dervish, at Bergen.
After long nights like these, the mornings were not difficult, as Mother warned me when she would find me at my desk past 10 o'clock. If anything, these mornings were even sweeter. The trees stippled with turning leaves and bathed in a glorious light that seemed like much more than just the sun's illumination. The white clouds sculpted against blue skies, stacked like majestic monuments to the Almighty's unfathomable glory.
Meanwhile, the college's Information Technology Department welcomed speaker Mikio Chujo to campus last month. Chujo, a professor from the School of Policy Studies at Kwansei Gaikon University in Sanda, Japan, discussed the role of technology in Japan's curriculum and contrasted it with the U.S. approach. Chujo, who has studied and worked in both Japan and the U.S., was a guest of Professor Anita Werner. Meanwhile, in sports this month, the interim athletic director, Jorge Hernandez, offered a detailed preview of the spring season, which is now underway.
Baseball is looking to improve on their 26-win year last year, which is the most they ever had. This year they have two outstanding sophomores coming back. Joey Mazzo hit over 450 last year, and our catcher Dave Schonenbach, who also hit about 350. And we have a large pitching staff this year, better than last year by far. Two great catchers, and I look maybe over 30-game win season this year for the baseball team. Also for softball, we have about 12 ladies with our new coach, Coach Mallory Gilbride, looking to really just start from scratch, but she is getting Angelica Medolo as a sophomore, outstanding third baseman, And I think that they're going to lead themselves to another playoff run like they did last year under Rebecca Dodd. As far as track and field, we have two all-county throwers. T.T. Douglas in the javelin and Yaneri Jimenez in the shot put. So we may have a couple All-Americans in track and field on the female side. On the male side, we have many new freshmen, so we're just looking to see how they do for this spring. Tennis, we have an outstanding recruiting this year with Coach Sal being able to recruit about 16 tennis players. And that's the most we ever had. And he feels after his run at Nationals, when he won the national title, he thinks this team is better. So we're looking at maybe possible nationals to Texas with the tennis team. And last is golf. Golf has a lot of freshmen this year. And they're looking to make another run at the Nationals like they did 2 years ago under Coach Tom McGovern. So it looks like it's going to be exciting spring as long as the weather holds up.
As spring sports are now in full swing, it's time to start thinking about summer classes. Registration opens April 15th for 6 sessions at 2 locations. The classes are an excellent way for students from Bergen and other colleges to catch up on their work or move closer to graduation. To register, visit bergen.edu/summer 2013 or the Registration Center, room A129 in the Pitkin Education Center at the college's main campus in Paramus. In this month's campus calendar, Bergen will host an open house for prospective students Tuesday, April 23rd at 5 p.m. in the Moses Family Meeting and Training Center at the main campus in Paramus. The Bergen Community College Foundation's annual Scholarship Award Ceremony will take place Thursday, April 25th at 4 p.m. in the Moses Family Meeting and Training Center. And finally, the college will host a TEDx conference Friday, April 26th at 9 a.m. in the Anna Maria Saccone Theater. The event, which will feature a variety of speakers and presentations, is free and open to the public. Welcome to our in-studio segment this month. Earlier in this episode, we discussed the good work of the Bergen Community College Foundation and its commitment to Bergen students. So with that in mind, today we have the Executive Director of the Foundation, Laurie Francis, in studio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Laurie, let's talk about the foundation. What is the mission of the Bergen Community College Foundation?
The mission is to raise and administer private funds to benefit the college, primarily for student scholarships, projects such as building projects, programs, faculty development, and construction.
Chiefly, it's obviously the scholarship component. So let's talk a little bit about that. What kind of money are we talking about here that's dispersed to students every year?
Okay, last year was our banner year. We gave out $385,000 during the whole year. That put us at $1.2 million for the last 5 years through June 2012. We're right now resolving our scholarships for this year, and we're hopefully going to top the $385,000 mark.
I mean, it's just so important now more than ever, scholarships. I mean, as funding has declined from whether it be the county or the state, and tuition, unfortunately, not only at Bergen, but has gone up across the country. Filling that void with private donations, how important is that?
It's absolutely critical. When you read the scholarship applications, they all have essays. And just looking at the financial need is one thing. There's a segment on finances. But more importantly, it's when you read their essays. These individuals sometimes are working 2 and 3 part-time jobs. They're supporting their moms and dads, especially since 2008 with the layoffs. Many times they have 1, 2, or 3 children. And they're happy, they're optimistic, they have serious career goals in mind. And without our money, they would possibly be forced to take only 1 or 2 courses at a time. So it is absolutely critical.
It prevents them from having to take out loans, too, which obviously they have to pay back.
Absolutely. That's something that we're hoping that we can help them avoid. Because this is the first 2 years. You know, we have a lot of health professions programs that get them out and right into a career, but many others require a minimum of 4 years of study. So if they take loans with us, then it's more of a problem for them after they get out after 4 years.
You talked about it earlier. It's not just scholarships, though, the foundation. The foundation also supports various projects and construction. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's interesting. The student center that we have on campus was the very first construction project that the foundation took on. We had a commitment from the state for $2.5 million as long as we had a local match. The foundation became the local match. The money had to be raised by the donors to the foundation. We did pay it over time. The county bonded on our behalf, but we were very pleased to pay off the balance of our $2.36 million bill in December of 2002. For projects, it's really a hefty number. We have done $4.2 million in primarily science and laboratory projects. Most recent has been our aviation laboratory equipment, our flight simulators.
Which is just so unique. I mean, there's no college in this region that has anything like that.
Absolutely. It's really exciting. We're just starting up a new aviation program. But what it's doing, it's also taking our pure science students, the biology, the chemistry students, and it's giving them another aspect of learning, even though that's not what they're going to be ending up in. They're fascinated with the wind tunnel. They're fascinated with, the physics of flying. And so it's just one of those extra value addeds. But we've been very pleased to be part of that.
I mean, it's progressive technology, too, which really kind of positions the college as a leader in kind of those STEM fields, which is such a focus for us.
Exactly.
Who donates to the foundation? Who are the people? I mean, in the case of science, I know who they are, but why don't you talk about these people that are from the community that want to support these type of projects and scholarships at the college?
Well, we have been blessed in recent years. In 2005, the Winifred M. and George P. Pitkin Foundation awarded us a $1 million grant, which came to us for the purpose of providing allied health or health professions labs or science labs. We have utilized that money very efficiently. We have enhanced the dental hygiene lab. We've added to it. We have created a second nursing clinical lab. We just finished the medical office assistant laboratory, and we have a biotechnology laboratory. Before it was a science lab, but now it's biotech. So we're very pleased about that.
It's kind of allowed us to respond to the needs of the job market, too.
Absolutely. And it also triggered a health professions grant that we're partner in for $24 million. So without those labs, that wouldn't have happened. The second recent gift came in 2010 from the Emil Bueller Trust. And that was a $2 million gift. And what they did with us was they provided $1 million so that we could outfit the new science wing with all new equipment, which was so important to us getting off the ground. And secondarily, with the money to create the aviation program and laboratories, equipment, and so on. So we're thrilled. It helped us create the new aviation program, and it also has helped us just increase the number of students coming in for STEM programs.
We're talking about some big ticket items here, but it's not just big donors. The foundation has all kinds of donors, right?
Absolutely. We have a retired woman who does her taxes and figures out what she can take from her retirement earnings each year. She has just been very, very loyal, and she's very invested in our students. We have another young couple. The gentleman's mother had been a teacher here years ago, and I believe it was for his 40th birthday. His wife called. She wanted to do something for him. She said he can buy whatever he wants for himself. I want to do something special. She established a scholarship in his mother's name. And this year they'll be giving 2 awards again, and now they have their young son involved in presenting. So it's a very personal commitment on their part. Of course, we have wonderful corporations that support us, other families, other individuals. It's just too numerous to get into, but our students are very surprised when they meet the donors because they realize that the donors are committed to the education that we provide, and that having the opportunity to meet their recipients each year is the icing on the cake for them. And it drives additional gifts to us.
A lot of the donors that we have actually serve on your board. Talk about, I mean, these are volunteers that are taking time out of their day, community leaders in a lot of cases. They take time to serve on this panel. Talk about how your board operates and who serves on it.
We have a wonderful array of representatives on our board, and many of them have been with us for years. Our chairman of the board is Robert Hakimian Jr., president of Hakimian and Company.
It's a big name in Bergen County and New Jersey.
Yes, it is. And, you know, we have lots of individuals such as Joseph Basralian. He's from Winnie Banta Law. He also is a past chairman. We have Robert Dill. He's been on the board since before I was on, hired. And he does his own investments. But he used to own the rinks in Montvale and Bergenfield, and I think everyone at one time or another passed through those rinks. I could go on and on. We have people from all different industries, from the utilities to small business, and the common bond for all of them is that they believe in what we're doing here. They believe in the kinds of students that we're educating, and they believe in the education that they're getting. It's a two-way street. They can believe in the students, but if the students aren't getting a comprehensive and excellent education, then that would diminish. But it's a win-win.
We've kind of talked about how maybe the role of the foundation has maybe evolved over the years, and especially considering in times of depression or recession as we just went through. Do you see the foundation's role changing more or pretty much remaining the status quo for the time being?
I can't imagine that the foundation would ever find a point where it would just want to remain. We have to continue to be responsive to the needs of the college and most importantly to the needs of our students. And it's exciting to have change. It's exciting for us to have new challenges. I can't imagine what it would be like to hit the middle of March and say, oh yeah, I know what we do in the third week of March. That's usually when I like to think about a job change. But the board feels the same way. They are always seeking to find new ways that they can help the students and help the college achieve, the excellence in education that we all aim for.
That kind of leads to my final point here. Why don't we give a little boilerplate to anybody who's watching this and they want to support Bergen Community College and help the foundation or create a scholarship? How do they go about doing that?
Well, it's easy. If you want to just give a call to me, or to anyone in my office. Our phone number is 201-447-7117. We'd be more than happy to talk about your interests, how you might help. There's no gift that's too small. You don't have to do a named scholarship yourself. You can always make a donation to one of our, like our general scholarship or securing our future scholarship. But more importantly, memorial gifts, gifts in honor of individuals. And there's also planned giving. You may not want to give something now, but you may want to put something in your will. These are all viable, and they're all items that we can talk to you about.
I'll do my own PSA for the foundation right now. It's just so evident when you meet students who are going through difficulty, whether it's financial aid, whether it's their home life, whether it's their job. These scholarships are so important to them, and so many of them, as you said earlier, cannot make it without them. So, Laurie, thanks for being on the show. I appreciate you talking to me about the foundation, and hopefully some people out there will donate because of it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay. That's all the time we have for this month. Don't forget to visit the college's official Facebook page to tell us what you think about this program. I'm Larry Levanka. Thanks for watching, and take care.